making your way back to your Shavasana. Your head's in, your legs are in, all the way back. Let some good deep breaths start to flow through your body already. Relax. And the word that we're focusing on for today's class is refresh. There's so much of our life that drains us of our energy because there's things that we consider our have-to-dos. And it's different than things that are chores for some people. Some people, it's like, I have to go to work. Some people, it's like, I have to do laundry. I have to do dishes. I have to take care of, whatever. And all those have-tos do drain us of our energy. It makes us so that we have to have sleep at the end of the day to kind of recover from it. But what I've started to realize for myself is that if I include little bits of self-care and just natural activities that to me renew my energy, that help me feel good, that help me feel alive, that help me feel like my vital energy is growing, those types of activities help me to just keep on going through my day with a more positive perspective. So imagine as we're going through, especially in all these stretches that we'll be playing with today, imagine all of this, the purpose is to refresh our system, to really check in with the vital energy, and by using breath and by just simple attention to the physical body, imagine that we're adding more energy to the system. So that's the simple idea that will lead us on today. So with that to help us, let's begin the arm stretch all the way to the back wall. And start to let the shoulders wiggle over to the right. Shoulders wiggle to the left. We're essentially creating a nice banana shape to each side. So helping the side ribs and even the shoulders, the chest to open up. And so I'll include the breath with it. A nice exhale when I'm trying to go to the farthest extreme. And pull as I go back through the center. You can take one more to each half. Good, and then as we're back through the center, your right knee comes into the chest. Give that knee a nice hug, maybe some nice ankle rolls. This is a good point where sometimes I'll get the snap knuckle that pops out of the joint. So just ease around it. Beautiful. So now right leg straight up to sky, grab on, help to pull that leg in as close as it'll go. A chance to check in on that hamstring. Imagine the vital energy flow of the hamstring. In the yoga tradition, we call that prana, that vital energy. So imagine you could see them. Sometimes I imagine it like the Chinese meridian maps, just lines that travel all through the body. Or sometimes I'll imagine it like my nerves in the nervous system. I just imagine I could check in. How is the flow of the electricity going? How is the flow of the prana? Take one more huge breath through the hamstring. Inhale. Next exhale. And then kind of like a pigeon pose, we're swiveling this ankle to hook on the back left edge of the fabric, because it's by back edge by our head. So hook the ankle and then slide the shin in. You always look in the mirror or get other people. It's a nice chance to open that hip. Knit those muscles for a breath or two. Keep and slow. A couple more breaths just to help relax. Receive the stretch. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Let's start to bring this right leg back up to sky. One more stretch for hamstring. And we drop it all the way down to rest in the fabric. Left knee comes in, upward. Abs ankle rolls there. Sometimes I imagine the big toe has a paintbrush. How big of a circle can you trace with the big toe? Good. Start to straighten leg up to sky, hamstring focus. Always know that the words sharp, stabbing, throbbing, shooting are not words that we ever want to experience in our stretches. So if that's the experience, always back off. But if it's just a really deep elongation through the muscle and even into the fascia, the sheath surrounding the muscle, if it just feels like it's helping to elongate all of that, that's the type of sensation we're going into. So imagine all the nerves passing through those areas. Imagine getting to pull everything just a little longer. Another huge breath flows in, out. Take that hip opener, put the heels back right, slide the shin in. Couple of breaths to ease into this spot. More deep belly breaths to relax even further. That second one is like 3 steps to sky. Give it one more little stretch. Good. Leave the left leg up to sky. The right leg kicks free of fabric and then hovers in the area where it was, that low angle. Here we're going to do some straight leg switches. So right leg lifts up, hand grab, pull it into a stretch, left leg lifts. And switch again. Exhale. Exhale, switch. You want to make it more muscular focused, don't use hands at all. If you want to make it more flexibility focused, use the hands to pull the top leg in every single time. Keep the body more and more warmed up. Let's do 5 more switches each leg. 5 and 5. 4, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. Good work. Drop the knees down. The hands grab onto the back end to help us sit up. And let's bring the arms to the inside for another moment. Hands go around right ankle or right foot, and right leg tries to extend up. Another chance to just ease that hamstring a bit. It's okay if it's not all the way extended straight, but if you can get there, that does help the muscles to remember that, oh yeah, this is the shape that I'm working through. So even if that means walking hands down to the ankle instead. And lift them even higher for the last exhale. start to drop this foot down, second side, left leg is upward. Good, so this leg drops down, hands come to the back side of the fabric. The thumbs slip in, grabbing the fabric. That thumb grip helps to push the fabric down to, for me, it's about where the pant line is. And then when I lean back, I'm trying to lock it in place right there before I grip back on. Good, to go upside down, wide legs, and then tilt all the way upside down, ankles wrap. Good. As we start to release the spine down, you have an optional forward pose here by taking hands just behind the head and then doing crunches upwards. You're welcome to do that direct up and down motion. It sets it to the rectus abdominis, or you could even twist the right elbow to the left and the left elbow to the right to include the obliques for a couple of rounds. So I'll let you choose how many of those reps you'd like to do for the core. And then when you're satisfied with that, just let the spine hang for a little while. I'll be right back, just locking the marker. Now there's a definite intuitive movement that may start to happen, letting the arms walk to one direction or another, just to help ease the spine and the hips. You know, you're absolutely welcome to add those intuitive movements. Also know you don't have to stay upside down to the point where your head is getting an intense rush. You're just staying long enough that it feels good for your body. No pressure to come up, but those that are up, yep, just hook your elbows, lean forward, and a nice stretch for the back, almost like a child. I like to kind of wiggle my shoulders forward to see how kind of flat I can get my torso against the bed. If you're in that floating child pose, you can also add some neck stretches by slowly rolling the head over to the right shoulder, slowly over to the left shoulder. And we're all up here, so let's sit up tall. Let's bunch up the fabric toward front door. And then your arm that's closer to that mountain wall, that arm opens up to the wall, or you can circle around the back side of it. Nice spinal twist. And remember to lengthen the vertebrae up, and then spiral around that really good posture. So gentle release. And we'll start to switch sides, bunch up to back door. Again, it's the arm that's toward that back wall, that's one that the feet to the back. And also circle around back to the back. Beautiful. And the three that are toward the back door side of the room, go ahead and switch back to the other grip. So we're all facing towards center of room. So all bunch up fabric towards center. You'll lock your arms straight. That gives your hip some space. So the hip that lifted up, the leg that swings up and over. Once you're there, both your heels come inside and extend your legs out. We do want to try to be sitting upward the best that we can. So if you find that your hips are kind of set down in a spot that doesn't allow for very good posture, my little trick is to grip up high on the fabric in front of you and then lift the hips up briefly. And when you set back down, usually I'm able to sit quite a bit tall. So then once you're sitting tall, let the arms spread open, pushing outward, allowing the inner thighs to stretch. This is a good place to note if you brought yourself to the center previously from the amount of grips that we took when we got inside at the very, very beginning. If you're not centered, it's okay. I have a little trick that I'll do for us later, but just note. So if you have too much fabric to one side or the other, you would take more grips or fewer grips with your first hand. I just like to note that here so that way it gives us more awareness of where we're at. So now let's start to slide our right hand down the right leg, left hand circles up and over toward the right foot. But don't let the left leg just kind of like be swiveling in, try to keep it active, going outward, open. Good. Spine rises back up, switch sides, slide left hand up left leg, then right arm up and down. Good. Rising back up. We're going to come up to stand inside of the fabric. So here is the point where you do want the feet to be in the proper spot, right at the edge of each fabric. So if you've got one side where the toes are hanging out, the other side where it's not, this is where your feet at least are set up in the good, even spot. And then once you've got the feet in that spot, slide the heels close to glutes, the knees can be popping out of the fabric, kind of like a frog. So make sure your knees are trying to get free of the ends of the fabric. Good. Punch the fabric up in front of you. We're coming to a toe squat. So toe swivel under you, the knees pop all the way free. From here, reach up high again and stand all the way up. Yep, keep the inner thighs slightly squeezed together. We're going to take a split toward the mirror. So your shoulder that's closer to the mirror, that shoulder needs to come around behind. And then try to face your hips to the mirror. And then from here, one leg goes forward, one leg backward. I like this armpit over grip because I don't go too deep, but if you are in that deeper flexibility and you prefer, you can readjust the grip to be really tight on the inside so that you can go a bit further. It's your choice. So it does require more arm strength though. Good. Two more full breaths. Good. Let's all drop onto the back knee. Kneeling on that knee, the hands slide forward toward the front foot. Essentially a half split. Notice if that front knee is super bent. If possible, try to straighten. front knee out. Yeah, good job. That's it. You got it. Good job. So we're going to start sending our hips backward to sit on the back foot. There's one way that the fabric would set you so that the knees kind of swivel to the side. Instead of that, we're trying to sit on the foot. So you'll have to, there's kind of a tight spot where the hips are. You'll have to like shift your hips backward to sit on that foot. Go ahead and come back up and, no, you got it at the same time. Oh wait, I can't tell. No, go ahead and come back up to kneel. Yeah, there you go. And then hips sit on the foot. Yep, that looks good. Okay, as you're continuing to lean toward that front straight leg, it's like a piston stretch. Good. Spine rises up. This front leg swivels to the side, the direction that you would for a pigeon pose. And so it's setting up kind of like for a Gomukasana cow face. So now the arms come free up the front, circle all the way behind the end of the fabric, past your wrist, and then lean forward into the hip stretch. Notice how the calmer we make our breath, the calmer the mind tends to be. That's that refreshing quality. Helping the body to restore all the stressors, all the tension. And so here as we start to release the grip, you're going to try to bring your torso up right away. So there's no danger of falling out. And we're going to head into a pigeon pose. So you need to come back to kneeling on the back knee. So grip up high up to kneel. This front leg still just stays swiveled out like it was, but you just send that knee forward, back leg back. Good. If you want a back bend shape for your spine, you'll just stay inside with the shoulders. If you want more of a sleeping pigeon, bring out the shoulder that's closer to, that's right above your front toes, and then forward over. If you're leaning forward, I like to try to bring this fabric with like a seatbelt into just the right spot of my neck and shoulder. The leaning forward is also helping to massage that area. Relax the muscles around the hip just a little bit longer. We're going to go back to the very, very start, that wide straddle position. So torso comes up, we rock our weight onto the front hip, and then swivel the legs back open to start. Beautiful, arms press open. Let's add in just a little bit of shoulder strengthening here. So the arms are pressing outward. The arms stay active, pressing the whole time. The legs, when we're squeezing the legs together, the arms are resisting, but the legs are stronger. So the feet can touch, and then the legs relax and we spread back open. Good. So exhale the legs together. Inhale the legs relax. Wide straddle. Exhale. So that resistance with the arm strength. And another 5. 4. 4, 3, 2, last one. Good. We're preparing to stand again. So if the toes pop down on either side, reset the fabric. So the toes are completely in. And we're coming to that little prep for the squat again. So the knees are free out. Gripping up high, coming to a toe squat. Then from the toe squat, we grip up high again, all the way stand. And for standing, we're stretching the splits toward the back wall. So the back wall shoulder frees its way behind. We can face our hips all the way to the back wall. Good. Either keep this grip as you let the front leg go forward, back leg back, or if you wanted to readjust the grip on the inside, that's also. Just relax into the stretches. More deep inhale. Exhale. Come to kneel on the back knee. Half split, the hands just slide forward. We're still kneeling on the back knee for a moment longer. If the front knee's bent, try to invite it to go a little bit longer. And start to send the hips back onto the back foot. The front leg still straight. Continue to lean over that side. And torso starts to rise up. The front knee swivels over to the side. It's the Gobokasana shape. The arms go past the front of the fabric. You take the wrist clasp behind the back. Lean forward. We're going to relax into that hip. And release, torso come right back inside. And then keep the front leg exactly how it is. We're gonna send that leg into pigeon pose. So grip up high so that you can come back up to kneel. And then front leg continues to slide forward, back leg slides back, pigeon pose. Notice if you're staying inside for the back bend or freeing out the shoulder that's over the front. Okay, so rock onto your front hips, swivel the legs back open. We're wanting to go into a taco pose shape from here. So briefly let both legs come out of each end. We're back to fabric at the knees. And to go into our taco, one hand makes a stop sign. Push that stop saying hand into the fabric directly in front of your face. And the other hand helps to invite that foot up exactly where your hand is pushing into the fabric. Once you've got one foot up, it's pretty easy to take the second foot up right next to it. And once you're there, start to slide the heels upward as straight as you can get your legs. So it pulls us in like a little taco. And the goal is if the legs are able to get all the way straight, from there, the next place that you would work on is trying to relax muscle groups so that rather than pushing into the fabric and resisting it, you're trying to kind of drop your weight down and release and pull. You can either stay here a bit longer if this is hitting your tight spots, or you can go into cobbler's pose. Going open, slide the feet in close to the hips. Now as we're heading out, we're gonna send both feet toward the mirror side. That way both legs are in the fabric. We're gonna be coming down to a laying posture. Setting up for a vampire pose. This first vampire pose is just to practice getting into the shape of vampire. Later on, we'll play with a full variation that we can do with vampire pose. So go ahead and let your head go past the back end of the fabric. And then you want to make sure there's not too much excess fabric on that side. So if you need to kind of worm your way backward, so you have just enough fabric to make a deep covering over your shoulder, that's great. You don't want a bunch of excess bunches up on your neck. So once you have a complete cap sleeve around your shoulder, not too much extra, grab the hands up high each side, left and right. The feet, it doesn't matter if they're in or out of the fabric, you just lift the feet up. And then the feet, if they're pressing outward into the fabric, they bunch up with your hands. Press outward and then use that press to help you lift all the way upside down. So this is vampire pose. So just hang here for a little while. Get used to this posture. Like I said, in just a little bit, we're going to be playing with full variation. Yeah, no worries. Keep the cups to the ground. Whenever you're satisfied, by the way, yes, you can play with going in and out, that's fine. Whenever you're satisfied, you can lay down like a shavasana or just sit like a floating child. You can just sit for a minute, that's fine. We've got the majority of us out by this point, so let's go ahead and start heading out. We're going to eventually work into a seated place when we feel like our head is not in any sort of a head rush. Eventually sitting. Good, and if you feel like you're good to come up to a standing posture, that's where we're headed next. We'll bunch up the fabric. I like to briefly lift the legs up and then swing all the way forward to stand. Good, we're gonna do a little bit of forearm strengthening. So keep this back half over your shoulders. The hands go above the head, then circle around, but try to keep it a little closer at first. So once you've got it around your wrist, slide back down, and then wrap one more time before it falls into your hands. And so from here, it's almost like our arms are already ready for a flexed arm hang. They're already in that kind of tight cupped position. So from here to work our core, we're gonna gently lift our knees up, exhale, tap back down, in. Exhale, and in. Building that strength just little by little. Go for another 5 if we're doing okay. 5. 4. Good. I know sometimes after a couple, the core is like, no more. 3. Little hops count 2. 2. And 1. Good work. Free out the hands, shake them out for a moment. And let's swing the fabric around in front of us. Upper body gets to go forward, the hips go backward. Watch out for neighbors so we're not like rocking into everybody, but let yourself sway a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right if that feels good for this one. Back through the center, bend the knees a little bit, roll the spine up, step back just a hair, like a half of a foot, and then the right ankle goes inside the fabric. So option to either slide the hands down for the hamstring stretch, leaning forward, or slide the hands up if you'd like to take more of a split. Try to see if you can have more of a quality of relaxing into gravity rather than forcing it. Beautiful. Coming back up to stand, slip the arch of the right foot into the fabric. Bending the knee, we're gonna grip up high. We're trying to do a smooth rise up to stand. And then a nice tree pose. So this left leg is behind the fabric, it wraps around. And then the left arm is the one that has to go forward. It feels funky until you get there and you feel like you're held in place. So good, once the left arm's forward, the foot can slide higher if you'd like. Try to relax into the stretch on the bottom of the foot, just a couple of breaths. More deep inhale. Nice exhale. And then right hand grabs on for safety. Left arm starts to free its way back behind. Grip on as soon as you can. This left leg is going to unwind and go through the center. This is the leg that we're going to come forward standing onto. We're trying to do a tight grip with our hands so that the foot that we're standing on, that right foot, can try to flip as we set ourselves softly down in front of the fabric. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. If you ended up just bring the right foot into the fabric behind. Try to face it, get right foot in, and then turn back. That's it. Okay, beautiful. So a little moment with a dancer's pose. So grab onto the fabric close to the shoulders, lean forward. Try to keep the elbows pointing forward, but start to kick the foot into the front. So that nice back bend, just two or three good breaths. Torso back up. Try to find your balance as you're trying to drop hands all the way to the floor. Once the hands are touching the floor, straighten both legs and walk your hands backwards into another splits moment. Now pigeon pose with that front leg. So walk the hands back forward, softly settle the knee down. Lower to elbows. Just a moment with core, bring the elbows right under your shoulders. We're trying to lift this left knee just off the ground. Hold there, just breathe for a couple of breaths. More. Good job, softly settle the knee down. Both knees to the floor, hands up on the floor. Just wag this hip, the hips out to ease out of that stretch we got. You've been doing huge hip circles, so really good. So we need to come up to stand for second side. Let's take a downward facing dog, tuck the toes. And walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet. With an inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Hands down over. Good. One more side, that's behind. You gaze up, you're just standing slightly behind plumb line. So then left ankle in. Either lean forward or slide the hands up and splits forward. Good, so come up to stand. Slide the fabric under the arch of the foot. We're gonna come up to tree pose. So try to minimize swinging, grip up high, use the legs and the quarter rise. Right leg length around. And then just the right arm comes forward. Maybe the foot slide higher. Sometimes bringing the attention away from the bottom of the foot can be the most helpful. You focus right on it. It's like, oh, this is really intense, but instead maybe focus on the air passing through the nostrils or something like that. Just one more breath. Deep inhale. Exhale. Left hand grips for safety. Right hand grabs on again as soon as it can. Unwind the right leg and step forward and through. The right leg is what's going to end up on the floor. A tight grip. And try to lift up the left foot as we lower ourselves in front. Good job. Beautiful. So we end up in front with the left foot. Whenever you get there, slide the hands down, close to shoulders. Elbows are engaged, pointing forward. Lean forward, and then kick the foot into the fabric to create the back foot. Beautiful. Rising back up, try to find your balance. When you have good balance, drop the hands all the way to the floor. Straighten both legs. Then walking hands back. Walk hands back forward so we can softly settle this right knee down into the pigeon. Or back to elbows. Last core moment, elbows on the floor. Try to lift this right knee just above the floor. Holding. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Breathe the knee out, shake the hips. Up to standing one last time, downward facing dog. Forward fold, hands to feet or feet to hands. And inhale to rise. Good. So turn around and face your fabric. Grab this front end. Wave it left and right. This is where I promised that vampire pose variation. So as we're facing back forward, hooking our thumbs, grab extra fabric. So if you normally do 5 grips, grab like 7 grips or so. So bring us to a place where we're already pretty much set up for vampire. So once you got that really good fistful, come back under plumb line, slide the fabric under the glutes, come to sit inside. As you lean back, make sure that it's just that cap sleeve covering, not too much excess. Legs come inside, and we're gonna leave the right leg with a blanket over it, all that excess. Left leg is free of the fabric. So you kind of free it out and put that top. Good. Once you got that, hands grip up high again, left and right. The feet hike up, one inside the fabric, one outside. Similar to before, from the inside, you push out. That pushes what lifts up to vampire. Okay, so your closed foot, that right foot, hikes to the space in front of your chest. Drop it down to the point where it can't go any further. That's like a 90 degree. Good. So using that, you're going to safely be able to slowly lower left foot all the way to the floor. I know you don't trust it the first time, but just keeping that anchor right in front of you, it's totally safe. Drop left foot all the way to the floor. Once left foot's on the floor, sink your weight backwards like one more split. The foot's not quite in the right spot, you can always pop it forward, and that'll even allow you to sink a little bit deeper. The shoulders inside by leaving pressure down. You feel like you slip out, I can help to slip the shoulders back in. Good. One more deep full breath to this hat. And as we switch the legs, we're engaging the core. So start to push your right toes into the fabric like a plank. And you're gonna work on stepping the left foot into that little pocket. You're welcome to hold in this plank as long as your core feels like it can. Whenever you need to drop right foot to floor, go right ahead for second side. Backwards again into the splits, whenever you're approach. Two more good breaths. Start to prepare for either back upside down if you want vampire pose a little longer, or rolling all the way to Shavasana if you're satisfied. So note that if you're significantly forward of plumb line, you're going to be swinging during Shavasana. Some people like that. If you don't want to swing, make sure your weight is right under plumb line before you step both feet in and roll all the way back to Shavasana. Like I mentioned, if you want a little bit more time upside down for vampire, that's fine. If you want to just go straight to Shavasana, that's fine. If you've had enough with being inside the fabric and you just need to come all the way out to lay on the floor for Shavasana, that's also fine. It's all up to you. These are our last few minutes of class. So breathe and relax as long as it's still helpful, eventually resting in that Shavasana when you're ready. That's okay. Some days it's accordion, some days it's not.
Was married in accordion last week.
I bet you're right.
It's boring. Oh, it was magical though.
Like always, it's never a rush to be in Shavasana, but when you're there, imagine the breath that you're taking is restoring the energy, the vital energy within, giving you a chance just to breathe, relax. I personally like to imagine it like my nervous system can be lit up when it's stored, it's revitalized. Then by the end, we'll have all those beautiful lines within our body all lit up. we're going to start taking our inhales, our exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out in ways that feel really good. It's fun to take a fetal position, rolling over to one side, then curling into a tight little ball, then arching the spine back. It's like an exaggerated cat cow. If you're doing that, I'll do maybe 3 or 4 to one side, and then switch around 3 or 4 to the other side. The spine is nice and balanced. Sooner or later, we'll work our way up to a comfortable seated spot when you feel balanced. Sitting, we'll join our hands together in front of our hearts. Imagining all those open, lit up lines within our body. Recognize that we have done a step here today to recharge our system. So with this energy, we recognize we've got all sorts of power to head forward toward a life of our dreams, a life of our hopes and our wishes. So with this beautiful energy to help lead us forward, let's wrap up the time that we got to share together today with the sound of oh, if I come out. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.